Welcome to Insight Plug, the podcast where independent creators and entrepreneurs connect and inspire. I'm your host, Devon Jones. Today on our show, we have filmmaker Joel Zeiser. Joel, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much having me here on the podcast. It's a great opportunity for me, like maybe, and I hope we can have like a interesting conversation this evening, probably morning for you or like midday for you, but evening here in Ireland.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's about the afternoon here in the States. And Joel,
Yeah.
we're glad to have you here. Um, want to introduce you to this podcast. We're a podcast where we are the platform for independent artists, filmmakers, entrepreneurs, any sort of creators to share your stories and share your journey and let your voice be heard by people who haven't heard you before. So once again, we are glad to have you here. And Joel, we have some projects here that you've worked on that we're going to discuss. But before we jump into the projects, we like to tap into the filmmaker as a person. So Joel, when did filmmaking become area that you wanted to pursue?
Yeah, to be fair, that's actually a good question because I think probably my career path, especially with filmmaking, is a bit unusual compared to other people. A lot of people, they have a huge passion for like filmmaking or they want to become filmmakers since early on, right? Like they maybe start already like with 9, 10 as teenagers doing like their first clips and everything. And to be fair, like in when I was a teenager and in my childhood, I was never thinking about becoming a filmmaker or like that I would do it. Like I had a bit of like I was really into action sports, so I was into skiing, mountain biking, everything. And I had like I think what was like when I was like 11, 12, I got like my first little GoPro and but it was more like just about like capturing, me skiing, like mountain biking and just have some fun there. But I was never thinking about like this as a career, it was just out of fun. And I think then also like I purchased like a camera when I was like 17, 18, but it was more like with an idea like, okay, maybe I can start like a mountain bike YouTube channel or something. But it was never like about filmmaking itself, it was always like more like as a hobby or something on the side. And then I actually like when I was still living in Germany, I was studying biochemistry and I was like, going like this kind of like pursuing a career with a classic 9 to 5 job and everything. But at a certain point, and then we come actually to the first project, where I was thinking about like on a career as a filmmaker and like make a living out of, creating movies or like videos or whatever, however you want to frame it, was coming with the project like Glacier Express, where um it's like it is framed as a documentary. I don't know if I would now when I look back on it, if I would really put it as a documentary. It's more like maybe a travel film, I would say. But so basically this project was born out like me and my friends, we love to do cycling tours around Europe, going out, try to do something extreme. And I remember the idea came, I was still working in the lab and then it was over Christmas, it was a Christmas break, and I catch a really bad virus and I was laying with fever in the bed. And I was like, oh, fuck, like, what could we do? And then I thought, like, man, cycling tour around Iceland, like in May, that would be cool. So I called my friends and I said, like, let's do the cycling tour and let's do like a film of it. Let's film it, okay? Let's do it properly. And like, I had back then, I had a small camera and I had a drone as well, but it was never like I never used it for like doing narrative work. It was just like getting some cool clips and this and that, but that's it. And a friend of mine, he was really like Hanno was his name, who's also like he's shown in the film basically as well. It's the guy which I did the cycling tour. He's into photography, so he had a camera as well. So we're saying, okay, we have two cameras, we had a GoPro and we had a drone. Perfect. We have everything. Okay. Let's do it. So, and then actually when we did the tour, like the 3 weeks around Iceland, like, I mean, it was an amazing experience, like cycling around Iceland. It's quite tough as well, but, um, also like the filming side, really like every day to really capture like with the camera and think a bit about narration, think about a storyline and so on. gave me so much joy, like just the work of it, that I was thinking like, damn, like I don't know, like maybe I should actually think about this as a career, and also like the aspect like that you can travel with it, that it gives you the opportunity to embark on new storylines. So then after we filmed that one, I was editing in the summer. I was editing like, this travel film and so on. And I learned kind of like, all these basics, how you do proper edit, how you do a bit of color grading, all these kind of things. Like very like basic stuff, not nothing crazy. But that was kind of the opener. And like after the summer, I also decided to go over to Ireland, and then I went to a film course as well, to a film school. um, and after this, my first documentary is then like the Two Wheels One Job, which was like the first proper documentary I did. But like that was kind of like the starting point of it. So it was never that I was like, I mean, I've always enjoyed watching documentaries, always enjoyed watching films, but it was never that I was this kind of person who was like, since I'm 12 years old, sitting in my bedroom and I'm like, I cannot think about anything else than film. Absolutely not. It came quite late, basically, or like late, but like, yeah, like I think I was 23 basically when I made the decision to pursue this career.
That's awesome. I like how it came together in which you're just doing things that you normally like to do, right? Your hobbies, like mountain biking, hanging out with the friends, and then, the virus kind of put you out for a little bit, and then boom, how
Yep.
about I just do this, and then with your friend having his own camera, let's combine and put everything together, and then now you got a project. I like how those things organically come together without you kind of like, you're not planning for it, but once you see you can put pieces together, you decide, okay, we're gonna make this happen.
Yeah.
I love that. I love when I hear it. I love hearing that happen. And so that project, Glacier Express. So could you share a little bit about in depth about the project itself of traveling and going through the areas?
So basically, I mean, the film, it's like, I think it's 23 not seconds, 23 minutes. And it is very similar to a lot of these bikepacking adventure films you see out there. So it's basically about us, a bunch of like young guys who want to cycle around Iceland in May. And we chose May because we knew already it will be challenging. And of course it was more challenging than expected. We had actually like an original plan to cross the highlands. And I remember we just came to Reykjavik and we were speaking with a guy, actually an American guy from New York as well, who's living now in Iceland. Dan was his name, and like we were sharing our plans about like, oh yeah, we want to cross the highlands, And he said, guys, like there's 2 meters snow up. Yeah, like no chance that you go there by bike. And I remember me and my friend was like, we were still trying it. And then, the film starts off, we go, and then it's like the first kind of like peak of tension, like where it's getting a bit more interesting is like, there is a way when you're like in the east of Iceland, there is kind of like, it's close to the volcano, I think Eyjafjallajökull, or any Icelandic person will probably kill me, but there's like this volcano, and there's kind of like already like higher terrain up there, and we wanted to cross it, and we tried it. And basically when you come up there at a certain elevation, so the road was officially blocked. So like even like the Jeeps and everyone, nobody was going there. And we thought like, we can do it like with the bike still. And then we started to climb, and then like the first snowfields came, like, okay, you carry your bike over the snowfields, fine. Couple of river crossings, okay, yeah, we're thinking about that. It's okay, cross the rivers. But then when we came up, we figured out that the road was basically like just a huge marsh. Like it was just like floated with water. So there was no way that you could cycle there because like your tires were just getting stuck in the mud, and it was no way to just make meters. And then we tried to push, but like we were so slow. And at that point, like we came with, okay, we have to turn back and we have to take the road outside. And then yeah, it continues in that way. There's a couple of other challenges in the documentary capture, like kind of like getting caught. Like we camped up on a mountain pass, we got caught in a snowstorm, um, and then later during the movie, there was this like incidents that our tent got ripped off, and all these kind of things which happen when you go on a journey like this. Um, but I wouldn't say there's nothing like super like what we do differently than other bikepacking films. You see plenty of them out of YouTube. So that's why now, like, you know, back in the days I was like, oh yeah, that's like already a good documentary. I was extremely proud about it. But now I would see it more like as a travel film, bit less than a documentary, because it's also like us in it speaking. So it's more like this, also a bit in this kind of like YouTube vloggy style. Even when I tried to keep a narrative structure in there, and I try to add it in a way that it's not like super slow, and it has a bit of like, you know, three act structure in it and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, it was basically how I learned also like editing and all these kind of things. You know, I had no plan before, like really like what I was doing there.
That's awesome. I love it. All right, Joel. So now we're on this next project. You kind of briefly mentioned it a little bit early on.
Yeah,
Two wheels, one job.
exactly. Yeah, that's this project actually just last weekend. I was at the Dublin International Short Film Festival, was selected for the festival. It's still going to the festival circuit, but I'm planning it to publish it very soon, probably on my YouTube channel. But yeah, that was the first like that was my first documentary, short documentary I did. Um, it's basically like a one character driven documentary, so it follows the life of Johnny O'Byrne. He's a bike messenger here in Dublin, and like my motivation to do this documentary, again, a cycling related documentary. So you see in a lot of my projects, like you see a bit like also some insights about me, like what I'm interested in, what I'm not interested in, basically. But my motivation was because, you know, I mean, you're from New York, so there's so many like bike messenger documentaries, videos, Red Bull, whatever. Like even I think it's even like there's one movie, forgot the name of it, like from 2016, which is about a bike messenger as well. Um, but you know, they are like based in New York. Berlin has also like a huge bike messenger scene, like in Germany. But when I came here to Dublin, there's nothing there. Like I didn't see anything. Like I didn't even know if there's a scene. So I was interested. Is there like a community here? Is there like kind of like a bit of a culture here, you know? Because you know, being a bike messenger is not just like, it's not just like a job. It's like kind of like truly passion, because it's really hard, you know, it's hard work, and the payment is not great. So it's kind of like really like just like very specific people are going to pursue this, and especially for a for a long time. So I was basically, how I started was I was actually just looking into Facebook, and I found Johnny on Facebook, and he had like a fixie video there. And then I got in contact with him and said, like, listen, are you a bike messenger as well? He said, yes, I'm a bike messenger as well. Cool. I'm like, are you up for a documentary? Oh yeah, definitely. You know, come next Sunday. Come over to the bike polo field, because he's also like part of a bike polo community there. And we can discuss stuff. And then, you know, I just went there. And what is also like then highlighted in the documentaries, especially in Dublin, but it's like it's worldwide. In the US, it's big as well. It's the same. You know, bike polo and being a bike messenger is very heavily linked, and especially the sports of bike polo was always like the origin comes from like actually bike messengers who came up with the sport idea. So, but the documentary focuses mostly on Johnny, his experience being a bike messenger in Dublin, what makes it special, what distinguishes it from like other, like, because he knows also like the other communities around Europe, like from Berlin or like London or like even Spain, because especially with the bike polo, like there's tournaments, so he meets other messengers and so on. So it's a he knows kind of like what makes the scene, what are like, the interesting parts in the scene and community here in Ireland and especially in Dublin. It's a very small scene. But yeah, that was something I wanted to highlight and I want to give a platform, and I thought like it's brilliant for like a 5-6 minute short documentary.
Awesome, awesome. I love that. All right. Here's a question. This may be a fun fact for the listeners. Joel, when did you get your first bike, and what's the most interesting place that you biked?
So my first bike, that's actually a good question to be fair. I got my first bike, I think like with 5, 6 years old. To be fair, I was not much into biking in the beginning as well. When I was like 3, 4, I tried biking. I was like, oh no, I don't want to do it. And then like 5, 6, I got a bike, and then it really took me like I got really passionate about like around 10, 11. Was out with a couple of friends on a mountain bike tour, and I was like, yeah, that's really cool. And then I got really into it. And I think the most special place where I biked, so we did a couple of tours, but I would definitely say the most special place was Iceland in a way, because it's just like it's really tough, the weather is against you, like especially the wind and the rain and the coldness and everything. It's really like, if the wind is against you, like you're like cycling for 8, 9 hours and you do like 50 kilometers, which is nothing. But it is just what it is, You have to go with the flow. Like you cannot just say like, okay, today we do 100 kilometers. In the end, the conditions decides what you're capable to do. So that was like really the most extreme experience. I don't want to go again to Iceland for the for the cycling tour, because it was really tiring. But it was definitely, I think, probably the most special experience I did from it. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. I love that. And thanks for sharing. And also, congratulations on being accepted to that film festival.
Yeah, and also like I'm maybe or not maybe, I got also like selected for the bicycle film festival, which will happen in mid of November in New York. I'm still looking if I can fly over or not. I'm trying, but I'm also busy with work, so I have to see if that will work out. But no, I'm very happy. Like we got for a lot of like we applied for a lot of festivals, and we thought like actually like I don't know, first documentary, you never know. You don't really have a name, but like the feedback was really positive. So no, we're really happy about the outcome, and well, that was really nice.
That's awesome. Keep at it. And we look forward to seeing more of those projects. And hopefully you make it to New York. New York will love you.
Let's see. Yeah. All right. It was already in Philadelphia, to be fair. It was at the Bicycle Shorts in Philadelphia. Which is also like I wanted to go, but like I was also like unfortunately like busy with some work and I couldn't go. But definitely, if you're like into bicycle short films or whatever, and you're ever in Philadelphia, I just saw like the other selections was really strong. There was one film about a guy who cycled through the jungle in Congo, so like there were really interesting short documents in there.
Wow. Awesome. Yeah, definitely have to look into that. All right, Joel. So also I have here, were you gonna say something?
No, no, no worries.
All right. So I have here you have Blue Motion Media. It's your production company, I believe.
Exactly. So it's our production company with a friend of mine, Stefan Toomey. He's Irish. I met him in college, basically after a month in college, and we started directly the company. So the company is not directly related to documentary per se. It's mostly most of our clients are more like on the social media side. So we usually do like video marketing for them. We run their social media pages. So it's more like short form content. Sometimes we do like podcasts for them, when they have guests, get a setup for them running, but also like a lot of like testimonial stuff, client testimonials. But we try also like there is certain clients where also like sometimes you can do like a kind of like a short branded documentary style video, what we're producing for them. But it's slightly different than so like what we have under the company is usually not the documentary projects I'm working on. They are mostly like independent. Um, what we do with the company basically is mostly like, yeah, video marketing. I think is the best slogan. What you could give the company. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. And also I forgot to mention, where can viewers find your work? You have a social media handle, Instagram page,
Oh yeah,
IMDb?
yeah. I'm on Instagram. Just building up an IMDb page there. I'm eligible to do it, but I always forgot, always postponed it basically. But no, you can find my work. You can also find my work on my website. I have a personal website, and also like if you would go out to our production company, I'm linked in there as well. And I have a short YouTube channel. I think definitely the Glacier Express is on there. Then there's a couple of short form videos in on there, but very soon I will publish the Bike Master documentary there. So that's maybe exciting to watch. So yeah, that's where you can find my work, and yeah, you can see some cool stuff.
Awesome. Remember everyone, get connected with Joel, check out those projects. And yeah, so Joel, we are at the part of the interview where I ask the guests this question. What is a book, a TV show, or a film that you recommend to an aspiring filmmaker?
Very good question. I was thinking, like because as a film, it's always hard to find. Okay, I will mention a documentary which I just watched very recently, and it's a short documentary. I don't want to mention a feature one because most people in our stage, we love to make features. Of course, the big dream is to do a feature, but in the end, usually we're doing shorts, and a lot of people don't enjoy short films too much. But there's a very good short documentary called The Trader. It's on Netflix. It got to Sundance, and I just watched it 3 days ago. And I watched it because I'm currently involved in a documentary project which will happen in Georgia, not in the US, but Georgia, the country, close to between like Russia and Turkey and the Caucasus region. And yeah, called The Trader. It's observational documentary. Goes into, just give you like a quick synopsis here, but like just goes into kind of like the job, like especially in the rural areas in Georgia, there's no like supermarkets or something. So like a guy, like there's a trader coming from the capital, bringing stuff for the local people there, and he trades it against. They are like most of them, they don't really have money, so they trade it against potatoes. 21 minutes. It's a short piece, but what impressed me on it is just like like good visual storytelling. There is not like a sit down interview on this whole documentary. It's basically just like the visuals and a lot of just ambient sound, not even like a lot of talking per se, but like it's a story which touches you, which gets your emotions involved. And I think that's a good thing to watch, especially as for aspiring filmmakers, because sometimes we lean into like that, we try to over explain stuff, and that we forget actually about like what is filmmaking really about. And filmmaking is really about telling a story about visuals. Doesn't matter if it's like drama or if it's like a documentary or whatever, but that's the core essence. So I think when I watched this, I was like, yeah, that was kind of like really like the true essence of good filmmaking.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Everyone, check out The Trader when you get a chance. All right,
Really,
Joel, that was our episode for today. Thank you again for joining us and sharing your story.
very good. Yeah, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. It was a great chat we had here.
Yeah, always. And we look forward to having you on again and hearing more about your work.
Definitely. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, everyone. You remember, we're here every Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I know we're on our international tour, but we're still operating on the U.S. time zone. So don't miss an episode. Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're on YouTube, Spotify, all those great podcasting platforms. Check us out. Don't miss out. All right, everyone. Remember, stay inspired and keep creating. Joel, thank you again. This is Inside Plug, signing out.